All right, welcome everybody. Thanks for being here today on this. Let's see, what day are we? This is Thursday, November 7th, 2024, if you can believe it. And I'm excited to get into another conversation. And just as always, I trust where God leads me. I trust that divine flow. I trust where I'm moved. And yeah, today it's moved me to connect with these beautiful souls who are really trying to do their best to help. So, just to give a little background, as I'm sure most of you are aware, I recently took a trip down to East Tennessee to some of the people affected by Hurricane Helene to deliver a whole bunch of supplies donated from the good people up in New York State. And through your generous support, I was able to fund that trip and also have quite a bit extra to buy supplies and equipment and things that they needed in that area. So, thank you so much for your help in that. And through that, and through a beautiful listener and a brother on this page, I got connected to another group that's really diligently working to continue aid in not only this that related to this disastrous event, but set up a consistent relief aid to help mankind, to help those in need. And it's such a beautiful thing. It is unfortunate, of course, to see disaster, but the beautiful layers that come behind it are the helping hands that come through and the people that help out along the way. So with the particulars around Hurricane Helene, while the initial surge of support was beautiful and there was a lot, almost an overwhelm of supplies that were donated and delivered, it's not over yet because there's still so many people without homes. And as we know, winter is fast approaching. So these people who have been staying in tents are going to need a more permanent shelter and a way to stay warm. So that's where I'm so grateful that I've gotten connected with Nadine and Jeff, who have co-founded and started this organization called FQXHOLE Foundation, and it's spelled with a Q in the place of the O, and that's very intentional, which is a nice thing to see, as I'm sure you all are quite aware of, and why I'm saying that. So I'm really excited to jump into this conversation today because Nadine reached out to me just a few days ago, and we had a conversation and talked about what they're doing. I got a little insight into some of the projects they're working on and what their next plans are to sort of continue this relief aid. And it's an amazing thing. It's an amazing venture, and they really just want to help. So if you haven't seen it already, I just posted, and one of the reasons why Jeff is a bit late with joining us today is he was delivering a camper to a family in need. So people who had been homeless, and so now they're able to sleep warmly tonight. And so he's running a bit late, but I'm sure he'll join us when he's able to. But I'm just really excited to jump into this conversation. So, yeah, I'll first introduce Nadine. Thank you for being here. Thank you for touching base, and I'll just pass it over to you.
Yeah, I want to thank you, Justin, for having me. Getting the word out is so important right now, especially since we're so new. It's been quite the journey in such a short period of time. We've come across some amazing people across this country. We first did our first interview with SG Anon, got our name out there, and we've been connected with some amazing people who have been so generous to help us so many ways. It's just hard to um, really explain the feeling that I get knowing the love and generosity of people's hearts. It's kind of overwhelming at times. I started this journey myself about 3.5 or so weeks ago. I just felt I needed to do something. And so I literally just made the decision to do something. I didn't really have a plan. Initially, I was literally just going to ask friends and family for supplies and donations. And I was going to load up our truck, hoping I could at least fill my truck and just drive down to Asheville and figured I'd just sleep in my truck. I didn't really have any plan. So things just progressed. Jeff had already been down. We have a friend, Nancy, who lives in Tennessee. She had been volunteering, so they were kind of scoping different areas. So we got a little bit more information with that. So Jeff landed in Bulladine. So that's where I ended up going instead of Asheville. I believe that I was just led there for a lot of different reasons. So within a week's time, I started to get a little nervous because I was getting a lot of stuff and didn't think that my truck was going to hold it. I was right. I had twice as much that I could carry down there. So this is just how God works. It's just every step of the way, it just falls into place. So I was in my mind just saying, God, please help me find somebody that can go with me, who can take stuff down. And literally within hours, a friend of mine, her aunt reached out to me out of the blue and said, hey, if you happen to need anybody's help to take stuff down, I spoke with my husband and we can do it. And so her and her husband drove down with me and got to meet my friend Nancy and her husband Paul and stayed for maybe an hour. And they turned around and went halfway back home and then went home the very next morning because they had an obligation that next day. So through that, I ended up, Jeff came and took everything that they unloaded at Nancy's house and we drove to Bulladine. And then that's where I stayed until I went home the following week. Through that journey, it was very emotional. I documented a lot of things. I interviewed some people, took a lot of pictures. I wanted to show the people who follow me what's really going on. And there were situations where I didn't even have words. It still really bothers me what I saw. It's just something that I've never experienced. So the night before I left, I still had almost $1,200 in cash. And there happened to have been a family that we knew about, but we didn't get the chance to find them yet. But I knew about their story, and so I gave the money to Jeff and his wife Donnie, and I said that I wanted to adopt that family. And so that's how everything started. I wanted to just take on that family and do everything I could and come back home and tell everybody about this specific family and raise more money to help them rebuild. So it went from that to Jeff coming up with the idea to start this foundation. And as soon as he discussed it with me, I didn't even hesitate. It was almost a no-brainer. It just everything fell into place. So we just went in head first, and we've just been guided in so many ways. I really do believe this is divine intervention. The people that have been reaching out to us, especially in the time that we need something specific, people have been answering the call. So I'm so grateful for these people. I am grateful for you for allowing us to have a voice and getting our information out there because we cannot succeed without all of you. We have raised right around $4,000. And although that seems like, a nice chunk of money, it's it's pennies in comparison to what is needed for these people. There's so much. They've lost everything. There's too many families that have lost everything. So, I had challenged on one of the other podcasts viewers and said that I'm going down the day after Thanksgiving again, and I'm challenging for us to raise $25,000 by the time I go down. So we've still got $21,000 to go. So I'm hoping there are viewers out there that, find it in their heart to donate, no matter what amount it is. Every little bit helps when we all come together. So that's our main mission is to just continue to find the people who need the most and get them out of the situations that they're in as best as we can.
That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that, and what a beautiful story to get you to this space. And thank you for your continued efforts in helping. It is wonderful. And yeah, I would say just in that regard, I'm certainly happy to help as far as getting the word out. And I'm really glad that we're having this conversation now. In regards to raising that kind of money, one thing that I found, and I had a lot of really good feedback for how I sort of did a campaign and a fundraising venture for this recent trip down to Tennessee. So if y'all can get really specific on what you're going to be spending the money on and like where it's going, not saying that I doubt it's going to go anywhere to a good space, and I don't think anybody is, but something to do with those kind of details of like, hey, this is how much for a generator and we're trying to get, this is how much for a camper we're trying to get, and this is transportation costs and things of that nature. The more details you can list in that way, the more people can feel invested into like, okay, I know this, I know my money is going towards this and that, and here's where the due diligence is on the front end. So it's a bit more work to sort of categorize that. And I know that of course there are always going to be unseen and hidden costs and things that come up along the way. And of course there's going to be flexibility in how that is spent to where it goes towards the most need. But as much as possible, if
Mhm.
you can sort of categorize that, I think that would be really helpful to see. And then as you're making those purchases, just keep giving those updates of like, hey, we bought this with your generous support. We were able to do this with your generous support, and just keep people in the loop that way. Because that was another comment that I got is like through my trip down there, because I was keeping everyone updated as far as what we were doing each step of the way, it felt like everyone was on board as well. So while everyone
Right,
was following along digitally, they're still there. You know, they're still
right.
there and able to help out. So that would just
Yeah.
be a suggestion. But yeah, I'll pass it back for you.
Yeah, so that actually we've been documenting everything as we've been going. We have a Facebook page called Foxhole Foundation. You can follow us on Facebook. We also have a website, which is foxholefoundation.org. Our Facebook page is updated every day, shows you videos, photographs, what's happened that day. We have the things that we are really focusing on is shelter, getting these people out of tents, out of shelters. There are shelters that are shutting down, and these people need a safe, warm place to go. If a hard winter comes and there's snow, a tent is not going to withstand that. They need adequate shelter. So as far as what the main needs are, would be campers are needed. He has gotten a few, but nowhere's near what is needed. I have a friend who came from Texas. He's staying on a piece of property that was donated to Jeff. I don't know how long it's been donated for, but it's a few acres. So Jeff is basically setting up camp there. They have this. My friend brought up his sawmill. They're going to be milling wood for free. So anybody who needs lumber, they're just going to be milling as much as they can on a regular basis. And so anybody from that area, or if you know somebody from that area that may not hear this podcast, let them know to look into us on Facebook or our website. Email us or comment to us on Facebook. Let us know what your needs are. Once they get that going with the wood, I mean, like I said, it's free. There's not going to be any charge at all. So building supplies are needed. You got nails and screws and tools. I mean, there is a lot that's needed. So, and like I said, we do update. That's one of the main things that is so important for us, is to remain transparent. Our government is not transparent. That's why everything's so shady and corrupt, and we are not them. So we want you to be a part of our journey, even if you physically can't be there to donate your time or skills or whatever, but you can still come along the journey with us. You can still make comments on our Facebook page. We are doing our very best to comment back. Emails, I've been doing pretty good with getting back to people. So, I give out my personal phone number to a lot of people. It's just easier for me to text because I get that right away, opposed to email. I check my email a couple times a day. So, that's another thing. If you reach out to me and you want to be involved in some way, or if you have any questions, I will give you my personal phone number and you can contact me that way, and we can have discussions about whatever it is that you are asking or needing or anything like that.
That's awesome. Thank you for that. And yes, transparency is so key. You know, we've got to model this as we shift out of this old reality where everything is hidden, everything is obfuscated, and into this space of clarity and transparency. So that's beautifully said. I really appreciate that. And I also see that that Jeff just signed on as well. So I wanted to welcome him to the show. Thanks for being here, brother. Jeff is a retired Air Force Master Sergeant. So thank you for your service, brother, and just appreciate you for all you're doing in this. And wanted to pass it over to you to hear. We've just been doing introductions. Nadine's been filling us in about of her story and how she got involved. So we'd love to hear from you as well.
Okay, great. Thanks, Justin. I'm glad to be here and have this opportunity. I'll introduce myself in a second. I just wanted to make the comment that I've just left probably one of the most fulfilling gestures I've probably ever made in my life. It was a second camper we were able to get possession of, and I'm working with some people that do similar work that we do that are always networking and trying to find these families that are displaced, that are shelters, living with neighbors in their bedrooms and that kind of thing. And I just finished placing a camper that was great condition, almost like new, from a really nice couple that I met a few weeks ago in Ohio, and Ken and Bonnie Alley, and they at no cost completely donated. We found through my friend Abby, we found a family that had their on the South Toe River had their single wide home just completely moved and flooded, gone, and they've been living in a shelter which is closing tomorrow. We were able to finally get everything together and get the camper to them this evening. The family is a father and a mother who's disabled, and who unfortunately the family just had a cancer diagnosis just yesterday, and two children, one teenage, one younger, and they are able now. They were just the union. We had some other people that were friends and other people on missions like ours were there to meet me when I got there, and it was just a joyful reunion, just to talk with people and have them hug you and be appreciative, and the tears were flowing, and the gratitude. And Jason Shepherd is the father of the family, and we just got to talking, and he just out of his own heart just came out to say, how appreciative he was, but he also just came out to say, wanted to say how, when I get on my feet, I am going to be doing everything I can to do something good for somebody else. And I said, you mean pay it forward, right? And he said, yes, absolutely. And that is kind of a coined phrase that we have as part of our Foxhole Foundation, is to pay it forward. If we do come across a lot of people in the region that a lot of people have some pride, and it's a little difficult sometimes to take some when you've just been a good person all your life and not receive. But when I run into those situations, I always just try to tell people, well, if you really don't want to take this, please take it anyway, and find somebody that find somebody else that needs it, and please just pay it, then just pay it forward. And that's really a gesture that anybody could do, that I think all could, agree to. So I just wanted to just mention that right off the bat. That's kind of why I'm getting here a little bit late, as I just finished doing all that, and the pictures and videos. And we will be posting things of this nature on our Facebook page and other media that we have soon. So I just wanted to kind of share that to get started.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, what a beautiful moment to share, and I did share your video that you sent to me about the camper, and so people got to see that as well, and that's great. I mean, I'm sure they were just thrilled to see that and to have a warm space to sleep tonight after having however long, over a month now, that they haven't had that. So that's beautiful. Thank you so much for
Mm,
sharing. Um,
you're welcome.
so yeah, yeah, appreciate that, and yeah, would love to hear just kind of introduction for you from you as well about yeah, how you got involved with all this. Nadine filled us a little bit on the story of how you two got connected, but anything in addition to that would be very welcome.
Okay. I live in Western Virginia, Lee County, the farthest western county in Virginia, with my wife Donnie and our two dogs. And my background is I did 21 years in the Air Force in a Red Horse unit, which is a rapid heavy construction combat engineering unit that builds bases and runways and heavy construction needed in military and a lot of humanitarian purposes around the world. So I was able to obtain a lot of skill sets with equipment and concrete and vertical construction and utilities and that kind of thing. And that all that time was in the Air National Guard in Virginia and Montana. In the civilian world, I did similar work, heating and air trade, and geothermal heating and cooling was my background, my forte, and also energy efficient construction. So when I'm being able to mash all those experiences together has helped with helping others down here in this area from logistical point of view. So we moved out there in 2018, living small on a little VA pension, and there where we are, we have 40 acres. And after the storm had hit, we lost power, we lost trees and so forth where we are in Virginia, a little sliver of Virginia that you're not paid attention to in this matters. Most of the damage is in the Carolinas and Tennessee. I would be home probably cutting firewood and that kind of thing right now if I weren't down here, and I have things at home that can wait. And I figured about a month ago, my wife and I realized that we could probably do a lot of good if we were to go down there. So we had a camper. We brought our camper down here over a month ago, and we've been here ever since. We found a place based on a YouTube video that I had seen about the Bouladine, Mitchell County area of North Carolina. Just got here, found the people in charge. I introduced myself, told them my skill set, what can I do to help, and just plugged myself in. And that's kind of the message that we try to mention to people that are asking about volunteer to help others in this stricken area of Western North Carolina, is to inject yourself if you have the time. The point I'm trying to make is I've lived in an area where we don't have full-time jobs. I'm just in a kind of a semi-retirement, and I'm fortunate enough to have the time and ability to be here. And so we did. We packed up and came here, and we have the ability to stay longer. And that's what it looks like it's going to happen. So that was probably some advice to people is to get there that you can be most beneficial, because people can help in so many ways down here. And so Nadine probably did mention how we met, I'm sure, and we've had a private. I started a private Telegram channel about 3.5 years ago, and ever since then we have been adding people to the group based on a theory. I had a mentor of mine, an older brother, Stan the Turf Man, and we lost him about 1.5 years ago to cancer. He was fighting probably 3 different diagnoses of throat cancer over about a 7, almost 8 year period. And he took me under his wing growing up, and it was a really good mentor, and showed me just things that he learned in life. He really enjoyed passing down to other people. He did not have any children of his own. And when maybe about a decade or two ago, we started our own theory called the FQXHOLE theory. And that theory basically is to surround yourself with just those that you would want in your foxhole. With a foxhole basically being like a survival shelter, where you would kind of repel the enemy from. I applied that to the digital battlefield in this war of wickedness in this world that we live in. And we've used this channel to archive and collect truth that most people are not familiar with, and to share on other platforms, and build a consensus of other foxhole members that are like-minded thinking when it comes to having truth that's been hidden from humanity, accumulating it, compiling it, and sharing it. And so we have a couple dozen members in that group, and we've grown to be a little family. And I got to tell you, this past year has really been more of a year of giving outwards of ourselves and getting active, finding places to go to help people and giving of ourselves. And I tell you, when that is done, things are really coming back to us tenfold. And it's really true what is said about giving of yourself and helping other people. So that's the platform, I guess, where Nadine and I had met, and we've just grown together, and we've grown a little family of friends around us that are all like-minded, and we're doing everything we can to improve the world around us by setting an example.
I love that so very much, and it's so encouraging because that too is what I share and what I know is facilitated within this group as well, of really finding that close knit uh, people that you can trust and rely on to do the right thing no matter what, so that we can be that beacon of hope and that light in the dark spaces. We can be that lighthouse to help spread to those who need it the most. So we have to have that strength at our core. Our lighthouse has to be on solid ground. It's got to be built on that rock. If it's built on the sand, as Christ said, it's going to blow away. So we've got to ensure that our foundation is built on that solid rock, and then we can spread that light as far and as wide as we possibly can. So that's absolutely beautiful to hear, and I'm so grateful to while this whole experience that we're going through is very tumultuous, what it's doing, I see God's purpose within it all, of having us really refine ourselves so that we can find that light again and spread it and bring in this new heaven on earth frequency and bring it into with such glory and gusto. So it's so exciting, and that was one
Yeah.
of the things that was so encouraging about you guys. And as soon as I saw the name, I was like, okay, these guys get it. They know what's happening. And that's so important within this space as well, because while yes, we need to be focused on the immediate needs and the immediate help, and it's so important to be doing that, and keeping in mind the big picture perspective of what's happening in the larger space is also vitally important as well. So thank you so much for sharing that. And yeah, it's just very encouraging.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm a firm believer that God just brings his people together. And I believe that that's what's been happening. Everybody that I have been involved with in the past, I'd say 5 years, are people that just came across my life in crazy ways. And even the people through mine and Jeff's journey with this foundation, the people that have reached out to us, you just know who your people are. And they just instantly become family. And that's what all of you are that has been reaching out to us and helping us. Jeff and I see eye to eye on a lot of things, and that's one of them, that we want to be there for anybody that we can, in every way that we can. Um, we don't have the abilities in some ways to maybe do certain things, but we're at least going to attempt. If we come across a situation that someone is in need, we at least want to try to see if there's something that we can do to help them, or at least minimize their stress and whatever anguish that they are, living through. So the people that are in the foxhole, we've all come to each other through some of the strangest ways, because I believe that we were meant to be.
Yeah, it's our light. It's like our light is amplified when we start reaching out to helping others versus ourselves. It's just amazing. And that the path that's laid before us, it's so hard to put into words how wonderful, how just things that have, the people that we've met and the good that's being done, just letting go and letting God. It's been an amazing journey. I'd say this, for me, this past year is when I've taken the turn outwards instead of inwards. And light frequency is, it's just, yeah, like I said, amplified. And just so many people are, I'm running into so many people that are just saying just that this was meant to be. Only God's hand had what was in us meeting each other. And it's almost like every day now I'm running into people as we're helping that are seeing and saying this. It's remarkable.
Yeah, it truly is, and you're exactly right. I mean, that's the baseline, the default setting, if you will, of this creation is goodness. You know, God is goodness. So this creation is good at its core. We've unfortunately been under the control of these satanic inverted people that have been trying to take us away from that default setting. But try as they might, you can't get rid of this goodness. And so
Hmm.
as soon as we start to step back into our roots and as soon as we start to peel away these layers that have been holding us back, this default setting starts to come to the surface. And goodness, that
Absolutely.
charity, the love, it just spreads.
Hmm.
Absolutely, they want to separate us from God. That's why they've been hoodwinking us all these centuries. They just want to keep us separated from God and the goodness.
Absolutely. Yeah, I often say that the if you wanna boil down all conspiracy theories down to one, or all conspiracies rather, it's all about disconnection. So they're
Hmm.
disconnecting us from each other, from ourselves, and from God. So any act of connection that we make, any act of connection is a revolution. You know, that's a way to bring back our true natural frequency and bring back in this heavenly realm. So it's beautiful. It's very encouraging. I mean, I'm energized just hearing this conversation. It's really inspiring me. So I am curious, kind of, Nadine, you mentioned you're going back the day after Thanksgiving. Jeff, you're
Yes.
already there. So kind of
Hmm.
run me through the timeline for this next month or so as far as yeah, what you guys are focused on first and foremost, as far as the donations that are coming through, where you're trying to spin that on, how that trip in after Thanksgiving is
Hmm.
going to look for you, Nadine. Those would be some questions I'd have.
Yeah, that's a real moving target. We are in a transition period for Nadine kind of touched on it already, in the fact that we've so far since we've been down here, we are getting the basic needs to a lot of people. There are distribution centers, Patriot privately created distribution centers where people are taking in, generators and heaters and propane and food and medicine and so forth, blankets, clothing, and that's been distributed. The basics for survival are for the most part out there and available. And the big transition, the next phase is the long phase, of course, is the rebuild. It's just going to take, we're going to be into years with when you start throwing in, bridge construction and that kind of stuff here. But so we are faced now with rebuilding on a private personal level for a lot of people, getting people into campers and homes. The rebuild is going to take quite a bit. So for us, I'll kind of describe where my journey has been. I settled down at the Beulah Dean Community Center in Mitchell County, North Carolina, which this county borders Tennessee. And at this community center, they asked me if I was going to be self-sufficient when I asked them if I could come down with my camper, and they said absolutely you can. Just want to make sure that I'm not draining their resources, kind of thing. But it's been a good, very good marriage, if you will, here. It's good people helping the community, and they are phasing out, as other areas are, into trying to get back to some normalcy. Some of the distribution centers that were set up to help the community in an emergency kind of situation, but there's some normalcy that needs to come. They have to get to, and I get that. This place here is ceasing the acceptance of donations. They're referring them to other areas. It's kind of slowing down because we're now getting into kind of a rebuild phase. So we have met a lot of people here in more or less like search and recovery and construction trade people that are closer to the rivers, that have a lot more of the hard destruction. There's a lot of homes that still need to be demoed and torn down and put into dumpsters, basically. It's really sad. A lot of homes still need some just cleaning out that could possibly be salvaged, that had, many, many feet of water in them. It just takes a lot of labor and hands to get those homes to where they can be kind of gutted and started over, the ones that didn't move on their foundation. So what's happening here is with this Building Center getting back to normalcy, we're leaving, and we found some people that donated some property to us because they know they're just people helping people here is it's just been a phenomenal journey, and the people here are so appreciative for volunteers that are coming, and they show it in so many ways. And a few are offering up some flat pieces of land for those that want to stay and help rebuild, help demo, help do things. And so we are working with some owners in the area. I'm moving my camper, my wife, and my dog, and we're going over to a place where, as Nadine mentioned, Will has a sawmill that he brought with him all the way from Texas, and we're setting Will up this coming week, and he's going to be milling. What we're trying to do. We don't have the ability to bring the trees here. Oh my goodness, the trees are laid down like someone took their arm and just laid down the whole forest. They're everywhere. And if we could just get people, if you bring us your trees, we will mill them to 2x material or whatever material you need and give it back to you for free so you can do some rebuilding. So that's an example of like a next phase that we're getting into next week. From there, my son is here from Virginia Beach. He's a little small engine mechanic, and he's offered his time to volunteer and repair chainsaws and repair generators and repair small engine things. So that's been a nice resource for the area, and it's helped quite a few people there. We'll be setting that operation up next week at the same site, and we will try to have some storage for any needs that people have to have for food and generators and that type of thing. If we can just get some more buildings, for storage. It's that place we're going doesn't have a lot of structure and roof over it yet, but there's land to work with. Each day, there are needs, and where our focus is sometimes changes, day by day. But that's what we're getting in. We're getting into, I'd say for us, next week is going to be an organization of our resources of people, matching them up to what we now know are needs of the really hard hit damaged areas. And that's just Green Mountain, North Carolina. That's just one little part of the Tow River. What we're doing is just a small segment compared to, you could take our operation and multiply it dozens and dozens of times to really hit home with production. And so when Nadine does get down here, a lot's going to be changed between now and the end of November. We're going to be we're in uncharted territory. We haven't really seen this type of devastation. By then, I think we're going to be in a situation where a lot of the damaged homes are still going to need a lot of work. Feeding the volunteers is going to be needed, and right now we are still planning on having shelter just for the volunteers, not just the people here that are still displaced, but we are trying to locate volunteers close to where the work is needed, and that has not all been established yet. So we're like still building bases for volunteers to go out and help the local people. Hopefully that kind of explains the extent of what still needs to be done. It's like we're not we don't have a dozen houses already built for people to move in. We're still trying to make the space on a destroyed property to do that. It's quite a bit that still needs to be done. So we're looking forward to having some extra volunteer and help, just to create a landing spot for volunteers and building materials. We're at the ground floor, just getting started of getting building materials into the area, and we're at the infant stages of that. So there's so much to do. That's going to involve just people with organizational skills just to lay down and collect and have materials available to work with. So there's a lot of little areas that a lot of different people can help with. So we're going to be plugging Nadine and friends into that type of organization when it comes to even just setting up volunteers to help the local people.
Awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
I appreciate. Oh, go ahead, Nadine.
Now, anybody who's interested in volunteering, especially if you like Jeff had said about himself when they asked him, if you can be self-sufficient, that'd be great. It's one less thing that we have to try to work with. If you have your own camper, or if you have, the bed of your truck that has a cab on it and you can just throw an air mattress in it, with a little
Good point.
heater or something, anything, like that where you have shelter, would be beneficial. Um,
Yes. It
you
would be
know,
less taxing on the people that are already here
yeah.
if you do come more self-sufficient. I do want to say that. Thanks for mentioning that.
Yeah, I mean, we're still willing to do what we can. But again, our resources are limited. There's been too much destruction to even have options for people to stay. There's a property owner that has a little cabin when it's available. She's allowing people to stay there for free. It sleeps, I believe, 4 or 6 people. I forget, Jeff.
Four. Yeah, I can sleep
Four.
four.
So, and as we get to know people down there, which is one of the things I want to attempt on doing when I get down there, is finding more people in the community willing to maybe lend a bedroom to some workers, or if they have any campers that's just in their backyard, even if they don't want to, donate it, but if they can at least be used for when people come, and try to establish just those types of resources where people can have a place to stay, because winter is coming, and a tent is not sufficient. So it'd be different if it was, spring into summer would be optimal, but we're in cold weather and these people need shelter. So that's got to be our main focus right now, is trying to get these people that have gone through the devastation and lost everything. We have to worry about, Jeff just did a video last night about, CPS coming in and taking people's children. We can't let that happen. We have to find sufficient and adequate shelter for these families, so our corrupt government does not try to come in and intervene and make everything harder for these people.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
yeah. I
need
mean,
we need people in government and law enforcement to understand to that can help us with the CPS situation. We need people up the food chain to start helping us.
yeah, yeah. That's a great point. And I've heard lots of stories about you know, uh, the bureaucracy getting in the way of things happening and people helping each other out. And of course, they think they're doing the right thing by quote unquote protecting somebody, but in actuality, they're just being a hindrance to the relief effort. So I was curious, Jeff, since you've been there intimately, and you actually mentioned you had a FEMA situation earlier today, what has been your perception and directly experienced yourself, and then hearing from other people in regards to that kind of stuff?
Yeah, there is definitely a I guess hindrance, I guess is a decent word. People that apply for FEMA assistance don't realize that their applications can be rescinded if they are to receive donations, campers, generators, and so forth from good people wanting to help humanity. Their applications can be null and void and thrown in the trash. That's what we're basically. That's one thing that we're finding out, and have found black and white answers on what happens. So it's an all or none situation with them. If you apply for them, then you have to disconnect yourself from we the people and your neighbors for help and wait on us. That is the honest truth of the FEMA applications.
Yeah,
You
and
may
Jeff,
get something from them later.
yeah, Jeff, Please explain to them the perfect example of the Bulladine sheriffs kicking them out and why.
Yeah, yeah, that was in the beginning.
Yeah, because it was an
The
all or nothing
yeah,
there too.
right. It was here, the community center here in Bulladine. Shortly after the storm, it was actually the day I came here. They had just left. Bulladine was a well-oiled machine. The people had come together, already started creating space to receive donations. They created a system on how to issue donations to the people. They created a system on how to connect with all the local churches and find out who was with and who was without, because everybody knew each other here and they had a nice system going. And FEMA came in and told them that they wanted to come in and set up a 500 cot facility out on their landing zone where the helicopters were coming in, and to basically take over operations for them. And the people here in Boudin said, no, thank you. We're really doing just fine. If you really want to help the people here, because if you guys came in here, you're not going to know Mr. and Mrs. Smith down the road, what church they go to and what happened to their daughter-in-law's house. And these people all already knew each other and where the needs were, and FEMA would have to learn all of that all over from scratch themselves without knowing anybody, because they wanted the people inside to leave and they were going to take over. That was caveat. And they said absolutely not. But they said, I'll tell you what, we could use a couple of shower trailers. If you're really in the business of humanity helping humanity, how about you give us a couple of these shower units that you have? We don't have those right now. And FEMA said no, it's either all or none. We either take over or we go somewhere else. And so they said, well, hit the pavement, Jack. So that had happened. Yeah, and I'll explain, to answer your question too. I'll explain something that happened today, that we're involved with. There was While I was here in Bulladine, I was trying to focus myself on logistics of being able to take the needs that were held here and open my radar and my eyes and my ears and find out where it needed to go. And I started networking and finding places that needed generators and people that needed things, and was going out with the things and connecting. And in that process, I came to an area called Jack's Creek in Yancey County. And these people had, in that river, I mean, house after house after house just wiped down the river, gone, and people were just scattered everywhere, and they really needed help. There was a Marine, a retired Vietnam veteran Marine. I'm not going to give his phone number or his address out. His name is Archie Wright. Wanting to help humanity and wanting to help his neighbors, and he decided to use his own two-car garage to start receiving relief aid that was coming from really literally all over the country. And we need these little distribution centers that are located in the damaged lower river areas, not just high ground like we were up in Bulladine. And so he started doing that with the help of his daughter, who her she was rather had a health issues on the disabled side, but she was doing everything she could, but all that work was really not helping her health. But they were doing it, and they were pushing along, and I saw what they were doing. I was really proud of them, because we needed more of that. We needed more of the patriots to band together and store goods for a long winter and be prepared. And that's what he was doing. And I was bringing him generators and everything I could, all kinds of food and clothing, and they would put lists together. We'd try to fill the list for them. Archie had a dream, plan. He had an engineering mind. He knew what kind of buildings he wanted to build, and he had some acreage across the street from his house that he showed me. And he showed me how he wanted to have traffic and trucks come in and come out, load and unload, and have a 1 to 2 year sub-distribution center for the people of his area. I mean, doesn't that sound like humanity helping humanity? Isn't that noble? Isn't that
Yeah,
something that we all should be doing? So
absolutely.
get this. get this. I got to talk with him quite a bit. He told me of some specific needs he needed. He was short on chain. I found him some chainsaws, brought them to him, and we just developed a little relationship. Matter of fact, through him is how I met Abby, and Abby is the one that knew Jason Shepard, who I brought the camper to today. And Abby's was like me, running around making lists and making contacts and creating her own personal network. I just was working out of a spiral notebook, and so was she, just writing down names and numbers and trying to connect people with things. So, but she knew Archie, knows Archie really well. I don't think they're family, but they're almost like extended family. And with my network, with my new place that I'm getting ready to set up with the sawmill and so forth, closer to a lot of the work on destroyed homes down on the Tow River in Green Mountain, North Carolina. There's a lot of veteran groups, veteran related work groups who I'm teamed up with. And I have a chance, an opportunity as our work goes on. More and more good luck is coming to us. We resourced and found somebody that has access to like a half a dozen or more pieces of heavy equipment that we badly need. Some front end loaders and excavators, skid steers, forklifts. And these friends of mine I'm working with have just come across a team of 100 people that want to come in and help do a lot of this work. So we're in the middle of that kind of networking going on. And right, the light bulb went out off of my head last night when I was with Abby and her friend Tammy, who in fact are in the CPS video that I took and has been going viral on Twitter. As a matter of fact, I got some good a first-hand account of what CPS is doing here, and I've posted that online, and that's gaining a lot of traction, thank goodness. But last night, while we were talking about CPS and I was recording that, I mentioned to Abby that, you know what, Abby, I'm getting ready to get my hands on some equipment, and I'm getting ready to get my hands on a team of 100 people. We're working out the logistics the next few days of how they're going, where they're going to stay, and that kind of. I think I can break off a team that can break away and go make Archie's dream come true, and put some equipment across the road from him on his property and start making that road, and bring in, you know, the ability to build these storage units he wants to make for his distribution center for the next 1 to 2 years for his community. And she heard that. She just immediately started, she fell to the ground, started crying. My wife was hugging her. Tammy started crying. And I'm just saying that this is just a possibility. I'm just saying that some things are coming together that could possibly happen. And it was just a dream of Archie, who was just a really respectable Vietnam veteran in a wheelchair trying to help humanity. And so today we got the news that somehow FEMA found out about Archie and his garage and his materials and relief aid that he has for his community. And they've approached him and they've offered him, I don't know what the actual deal was, but they've offered him something, a deal that I was told that he could not refuse. And they want him to get rid of all the material in his garage, sign on with FEMA. He cannot build across the street, cannot do anything with distribution from here on out, and they're going to compensate him with something. And I was told by Abby this afternoon that he was on his way to go sign the paperwork with FEMA today. And it's like I'm right on the edge. I'm right on the edge of being able to help him create what needs to be created and what he wants over the, a distribution center that people can come. There's goods and relief aid coming in from all over the country still, and we need places to put it and keep it and distribute it out from, and it can all be free. That's abundant. That when we hear about God's abundance, it's right in our face. I'm seeing it. It's abundance all over the place, and we're trying to manage it. And Archie had a good plan. He could be one of thousands. but he went, from what I understand, he broke down because it was an offer he couldn't refuse. His daughter that's helping him is just physically having a difficult time, and I believe he's gone to sign the paperwork, and we're this close to moving some people over there to get that distribution center started. So if you want to get an idea of what FEMA is and does, they're in the dream crushing business, and it just absolutely makes no sense. And they have all the caveats and the restrictions of him being able to do what humanity needs, and he'll just get in line to maybe get some money someday from them. And so I just got so I was busy with the camper gift this afternoon, the evening, and I couldn't get over to him to try to talk to him about the FEMA stuff. The one thing that he may have going for him, if there was somehow we have a way to, kind of, get this going, just like you go buy a car, there is some type of contract voiding that can be done over hours or days, no matter what contract.
Mhm. Yeah,
FEMA is, yeah, FEMA is not exempt from being able to have someone walk away from a contract after they sign. That's that, and there's no way that could possibly be possible. There is something. So I haven't had a chance to go to him yet. There are a few people I've reached out to, some people around here that are going to go talk to him. I came across a group called the Christian Rangers this evening that were there at the camper reception tonight. Their name is starting to spread out a little bit, and they're, I believe, are going to go try to talk with Archie too to see what can happen. So that is a firsthand account of a report that's just, this is exclusive. This is just happening today live. And that story about Archie can tell you everything you need to know about FEMA.
Yeah, thanks for that. And unfortunately, these stories are not few and far between. They are pretty consistent as far as this satanic bureaucracy, because that's what it is. It's satanic that
It
that
is.
tries to inhibit the good nature of people and people that just want to help. So thank you so much for sharing
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Satan is
And
Satan is powerless until you consent. With your Satan is powerless until you give him consent.
absolutely. Yeah. And the benefit of all this happening and these kind of scenarios happening is it's having people realize, maybe even more so than they did before, well, certainly more so than they did before, that we cannot trust this type of government. We cannot trust this type of infraction or this type of influence in our lives. So hopefully, we learn never to do this again. So I am grateful for that. But in the meantime, navigating these waters is tricky. So I'm grateful that you're there to support. And yeah, I just want to say, live on the air, that I am moved by you guys sharing, and I'm looking at the maps and logistics. I want to make a trip back down to help out again. I had such a good time last time to help out. I was only there for a short amount of time because I had a rental truck. But if I come in my vehicle, I have bed and everything. I've been prepping for for a decade now, so I'm good to go. Everything that I need. So I'd be a very self-sufficient helping hand, and I know that I could bring my community along to kind of tag along with some ventures there. Plus, I have some family and friends in the area that I could go visit. So yeah, that's breaking news as well. I'm gonna make plans to make another trip down from New York and come help out you guys. So
that's
I'll keep.
Great.
incredible. Thank you. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now I'm going to have more landing areas by then. Like I mentioned, the landing areas are, and the needs are kind of changing by day, but they're there. That's for sure.
yeah, well, I'm used to finding spots. I've done plenty of traveling and finding camping spots in national forest and public lands and things of that nature. So I'm used to making it work no matter what. But yeah, of course, any additional information and whatever, and I'm gonna reach out to some people I know in the area, including my family, and see if we can figure out some more things that we can work with. But I'll keep you posted. Oh, go ahead, Lila. Yeah, welcome.
Hi, hello, Jeff and Nadine. It's really nice to meet you. it's just so moving to hear about how you two and the rest of your community have stepped up. And it really makes me feel good to know that there's a place that I can donate to and support, that not only is aligned with like going in and being the boots on the ground, but is familiar with the deeper geopolitical movement that is Q. And
Hmm.
so I'm thrilled to meet you and to support you however I can in the coming time. And yeah, thank you for taking the time to share, even this most recent share of this guy kind of getting bought off, for lack of a better term, by FEMA. I of course, have heard these things, etc., but it's been hard to know what to believe, what not to believe, when you're all the way across the country and you're seeing things on social media. So I just feel really grateful to get to really hear it from people that I trust. So thank you for doing the good work, and thank you for getting that family, that camper just a little while ago today. And God bless all of you for stepping in and doing whatever you can.
Lila, thank you
Thank.
for that. One thing that I would ask anybody that's hearing this now or will hear it in the future, one of the biggest things that you can do to also help us is to spread our name, get the information out for us. We're doing the best we can, to do that. Follow us, on Facebook, because you will see the work being done. You will see what we're doing on a regular basis. Right now, because I'm in Pennsylvania, I'm a little more behind the scenes and talking with people and making connections and handling things in that way. Jeff is definitely boots on the ground, running around like crazy. He's like a superstar. So, but to help us, because, our time is limited as well. Just telling your friends, telling your families, telling coworkers, hey, I heard about this foundation. If you really want to help people, this is a really good one. Check them out. Check them out on Facebook. See what they're about. That would be a huge help.
Yeah, thanks, Lila.
Yeah,
I
I'd be happy.
appreciate that
Oh,
vote of
go ahead.
confidence. I just want to say thank you for that vote of confidence. That really helped, knowing that people care like that. Matter of fact, maybe I'll just do an extra month because you just gave us such a big vote of confidence. Thank you.
Aw. Well, I was thinking as you were telling your personal story, just yeah, how beautiful God is to have aligned your life even for you to be in the position where you could take this time and be present in this way, and everybody else who is helping, including Justin, being able to go there on, I guess, go there again. So how wonderful, that is just divine intervention, literally. And as far as spreading the word, oh, I'm already going to do that. You must be able to feel me, because I'm definitely a world bridger. So I will be definitely helping out. Maybe, I'll contact you privately. Maybe that's even something that I could really help out with, just dropping things here and there on social media, etc., for you guys. So yeah, happy to support however I can. And for each of us just to consider, yeah, whether we're here listening or will hear this, what's our own special little way that we can contribute to this. There's so many little things that we can do, and we might never be able to go to that area if we're in another part of America, or even anywhere else on the earth. But there's so much that we can do just by dropping things into different places where we are already communities. So yeah, thanks. And just, you guys are wonderful. Thank you so much for coming and telling us what you're doing. I'm so thrilled to hear about the Foxhole community and your organization. Thank you so much, loves.
Yeah, thank you. If you can reach out to me, I will give you my personal number.
Awesome. Yeah, and I see Darth Vader's is on the call as well. Nadine, this was the guy whom you spoke with when we were on the phone, and
Oh, okay.
Darth is the one who helps run Project Concern, which is where we got all the donations to be sent down in this last little haul. So yeah, I'm really happy to have him here on the call as well, and just wanted to pass it over to you, Darth, for some words.
I just wanted to let you know that I fully support all of your efforts, and that I'll do what I can, and I'll be speaking to the members of my organization to see what we can do to help support your efforts, and to spread awareness of your cause. You really are angels here on earth, and I'll be praying for your effort, that things go well for you. We need more people like you, and I'm confident that things are going to go well. So I just wanted you to know that I'm on board, and that I'll be here, and that I'll be coordinating through Justin, and I'll be in contact.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I actually have confidence in knowing that we are going to succeed. I know it's going to be a bumpy road. I know there's going to be some hard knocks. I know there's going to be a lot that we have to learn. But I am confident that we will get through all of the hurdles together. And as we grow our team of family members that just keep joining us, we all have different skill sets. And I think that we will be building an amazing army.
I know Nadine personally. I went to school with her. And Nadine, I'm so proud of you.
Thank
I'm so
you.
proud of you for stepping out and letting God use your vessel and everything that you do for humanity. People just don't know. They don't know just the things that you do. I'm so proud of you. And I got to meet Jeff. He's so real. It's awesome what you're doing, Jeff, down there in North Carolina, and you and Nadine teaming up together. That's a blessing from the Lord. So I just wanted to say that these people are real and they're working hard. I'm proud of you both and everybody that's with you doing this. I'm just so proud.
Thank you,
And
Angie. I love you.
I just want to
Thank you
say
so
thank
much.
you, Jesus, for using them and allowing them to be part of this and helping these people. It's so beautiful to thank you.
Thank you. Thank
Well,
you,
I love
Angie.
you too,
thank
sister.
you. Thank you. That's very
Keep,
nice. Very nice.
keep
Thank you very
going. Don't
much.
give up.
No, we're not.
Never.
I'm not. I've been
You have
very,
an
very
army behind
fortunate.
you.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate to be in the, just the situation I'm in, where we ended up settling down in 2018, and a little retirement mindset in place of 40 acres in the woods, nice and quiet and pretty. And I'm just trying to heal from just,
Yeah.
just things in surgeries, and the healing's done, as far as I'm concerned. And it's time to give back. And I'm learning as I give back, it's spreading. The
That's
people I'm
amazing.
contacting, it's spreading. It's spreading. I know it's spreading. I see it. I feel it. People are saying things they've probably never said before about helping other people. And I'm just continuing to go forth and spread it. I'm just doing this outward giving without question, without second thought. And it's hard to explain, but it's permeating people. So I feel like I've been given the torch be passed around and shown to everybody, and I'm gonna keep on going with it.
You have holy warring angels surrounding you. I pray a hedge of protection over all of you as you go through this. Any obstacles, I pray that Yeshua HaMashiach tear them down. Take them out of the way. You're the only one who can. I have you guys in prayer. It just does my heart good to know that there really is good people out there. And my sister Nadine's one of them. So
Thank you. And so are you. I love you.
I love you too, sister.
Oh, it's so
Mhm.
beautiful. I love it. Thank you, Angie, for speaking up on that. And Jeff and Nadine, thank you so much for coming on today. If you want to support their efforts, go to Foxhole, and that's with the Q, FQ, and so instead of an O, it's a Q, foxholefoundation.com. And that's where you can find their information. That's where you can find their Facebook page. That's where you can find their donation links, their contact information. So get involved in some way, whether that's through financial support, whether that's through helping spread the message, whether that's through actually being boots on the ground and going to help out. Find some way that you can support so that we can help those in need. We can help those who were affected by this disaster, and we can make it better. We can help find that solution. So
I
again,
just,
just want to appreciate. Oh, go ahead,
yeah, I
Nadine.
just want to make a correction. It's foxhole foundation.org.
Oh yes, thank you so much for that. Yeah,
Mhm.
foxholefoundation.org. FQXHOLE.org. So check out their website, see what you can do to support, help spread the message. So yeah, I'll just pass it over to, we'll start with Nadine and then to Jeff for any closing comments before we wrap up.
So yeah, I again, Justin, I appreciate so much you giving us this time. This is what we need. We need to get our information out there. There's a lot of people out there that have good hearts that want to help and just don't know how to. And so that's why we ask that you follow us at Foxhole on Facebook or check out our website at FQXHOLEFoundation.org. Look and see what we're about. Know that we are very genuine. We don't do this for recognition. We definitely don't do it for the money. My gosh, we're losing money personally doing, we want to help people, and we are that avenue. If you want to help, we will place your funds or materials or wherever, whatever you decide to donate, where it is needed. So thank you again.
Yeah, thanks, Nadine. Yeah, Jeff, any closing comments?
Oh yeah. Well, first I just have a question actually for you, Justin. Is there are there other places other than your website where we can find and others can find your recordings and prior broadcasts other than like website as a platforms
Yeah,
for
so
you?
on my website, justincarpenter.org, I have a links page which lists all of my social media, and I try this show. I'm not quite sure. I do have a YouTube page, and that's where I'd like to put it, but I might also put it on Odyssey. I do have an Odyssey page, and then I list everything that I post on my website as well to make it easy to find and search for. And then Telegram is a space where I do a lot of broadcasting and post.
Oh,
So yeah, that's where you can find
great.
me, justincarpenter.org, and slash links is that page where all those are listed. And I'm going to make sure that I post this somewhere where it's easy to find and easy to see, so that we can get this message as far and as wide as my little voice can muster. So yeah, I appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, my final comment is just the gratitude, to you. Thank you for the opportunity to bring us in front of your audience and just kind of keep a light on a situation that most of the country is knew about. Some may feel that the information from a large perspective, media perspective, is probably fading away. The gratefulness comes from the fact that we're here, boots on the ground, and we're still actively working. We are more than happy to continue to give updates and progress of what's happening so we can keep, the good people in your audience in our country up to date and up to speed of what's really happening and what to be aware of. So again, thank you and your
Yeah, I appreciate that, and gratitude right back to you. It's we can help each other out, and happy to. It's truly an honor. So, yeah, thank you everybody for listening today. Thanks again, Jeff and Nadine. Thank you guys, everyone, for the beautiful comments and just for giving your listening support. So, any which way that you find yourself inspired to help out, please do so. I'm gonna do as much as I possibly can, and as I mentioned, I'm gonna be making plans to make another trip down there. So I'll be in touch about that. And yeah, just love you guys so very much. Thank you, and have a wonderful night or day wherever you are. Appreciate you. Take care.